I don't think I have to tell you guys the enormity of the match we are going up against. We are playing the St. Louis Rampardos and A-Drive. Made it to the finals last season. Was the best in our conference last season. Beat us twice in our division last season. Now we've come back. We're here. We're ready. We're going to take him head on. I don't know what you guys are thinking. We have a terrible matchup against him. We do. So many of his mons just put in work against us. But you know what? We're going to stare right into the face of these overwhelming odds. And we're going to go in there. And we're going to lick our hand. And we're going to walk right up to it. And we're going to smack that mofo right in the face. And we're going to say, we are not backing down. We are not giving in. We are not going to sit by and let you ruin this team. We're the Pittsburgh Pirattatas, and that means something this year. Not an easy victory. We may not win every week, but we're going to put in the finest of work, and we're going to smack some people around, and we're going to faint a butt ton of Pokemon, and we are going to leave our mark in the history of the GBA. Now, I know what you guys are thinking. We are really, really outmatched. I think you guys underestimate yourselves. You guys need to get out of the victim mentality, and you need to step into the victor mentality. Because when you play the victim, guess what? You're going to get victimized. But when you put yourself and you give yourself the mantle of victor, all I can say is your odds of winning increase greatly. So I'm going to leave you with the words of one of the greatest leaders who ever stared what was imminent defeat in the face and delivered a message to inspire his troops. Now I want you guys to listen to this, and I want you to grab a hold of it. I want you to take it, and I want you to slam it right into your heart, and when you feel like fainting out there on the field, I want you to hold on and cling to these words. Let's go, Pirattatas. We are going to stomp some Rampardos booty.
Never give in. Never give in. Never, never, never. In nothing, great or small, large or petty, never give in except to convictions of honor and good sense. Never yield to force. Never yield to the apparently overwhelming might of the enemy.
Okay, now we get a pretty good look at the team here, and it's more or less what we expected. He didn't bring Sylveon, which was important. Didn't bring any of the ground types, which is a little surprising to me. So that is going to cut back in Thunderous effectiveness. But I still think we look pretty good in this match. We're going to have to wait and see what the Heracross set is. I'm kind of expecting DD Ment going into this. And I think our overall best lead is Archeops, because guaranteed to get rocks up if we not want. If he starts with his spinner, which he does, we can switch out. We did mention in Team Builder that we were worried about this thing possibly running Scald Aqua Jet, so we switch right out because we have the man with the plan, actually the woman with the plan, Requiem, who's going to come in, take this water type attack beautifully, absolutely beautifully, and we are running the Water Absorb this week because we kinda need it. So getting at the Toxic off here, and I just want to go for the Energy Ball, scale the damage, and that does about a quarter. He's got the leftovers, so we know it's not Assault Vest, and based off damage. So I'm gonna take the Toxic damage here. Now I don't expect him to stay in because we'll probably put him right at half if we get him with another Energy Ball. So we go for the Shadow Ball here. Predictions on point this early in the game, and that does about a quarter, which lets me know this thing has a little bit of a defensive investment, definitely in the HP. He is going to go for the knockoff here. And we are going to exchange the berries here. Now, Cobra Berries revealed for me, and I got the Hidden Power Flying, specifically to counter. The Cobra Berry weakens that. Now, depending on how much defensive investment he has specially, I will probably KO with one more hit. And I know that's going to happen, and I know he can't kill me. So I just want to recover this turn, and I do on the switch, and that's bueno. Because we get Requiem back up to a considerable amount of health even after the toxic damage. And that's something we needed to do, and that is keep our walls as healthy as possible. So we're going to switch Requiem out here because we cannot take an electric attack. I'm going to go into Spinal Tap because Spinal Tap's going to shrug off anything except for a Hidden Power Fighting. And it did turn out that's what he had, even though I don't think we see it this match. I'm going to go for the Thunderbolt and get the Paralysis. Now, this didn't have a huge effect on the match. In all, it did change some of my decision-making later in the game. But what you going to do? A Thunderbolt Para just can't be accounted for. So he's going to Volt Switch out here, and it's going to do nothing because of my defense. Now, nothing on his team wants to come in and take a Stone Edge to the face outside of Aggron, which I was kind of surprised he didn't go into. But he's going to go into Scareborn, his Heracross here. We get the Stone Edge off, and it lives with just the tiniest amount of health. And it's going to go down to the Sandstorm. So, unfortunately, that doesn't count as a kill for Mega Titor, but it does in my heart. So, V-Drive's going to come out here, and I'm just like, I know these things carry Brick Break. What's he going to do turn 1? I want to go into Energy because we have that Focus Sash. And he's going to go for the Substitute. I'm like, okay, not a problem. I got the Focus Sash. I have Earth Power, so I know I'm not going to miss a Stone Edge. And I have to break this. We see the Leftovers, so I'm like, okay, probably fairly standard-ish subset, which is really good against my team. So, carrying the Earth Power, for reasons stated in the team builder, it just helps out with this as well as Aggron and Mega Aggron. I was going to Bolt Strike. And interestingly enough, oh, that's right, we have the Focus Sash, so that's not going to take us out. We're going to survive with 1 HP. That is going to put us in a defeatist range, well below it. Now, we did talk a little bit afterwards, and he said that in his game planning, he did account for Endeavor Archeops, and it is a fairly standard-ish set as a lead, so I expected him to know that. But I needed to take something on his team down. Now, unfortunately, the Sandstorm subsides this turn, or he would have died. Fairly certain that the Sandstorm damage goes in before Leftovers. I could be wrong there. But I mean, regardless, he would have been at 1 health because the damage is equal to the Leftovers. So, Arcanine comes out here, bluffing the extreme speed, and he's gonna bring in Aggron, and I'm just like, expecting me to be a physical set. And I go for the Snarl here because I know it's going to take him out, and if he brings in Blastoise, that's going to really lower its special attack, and that's going to give me a really good switch into something. Now, he's going to Mega up here, and I don't think he can kill me with 1 hit, unless he Rock Smashes and max damage. So I stay in, I go for the Flamethrower, and I gauge another one is going to take him out at this point if I survive. Now, we see the Stone Edge there, and I'm just like, if he stays in, he's gone. If he switches into something, it's going to get Flamethrowered. He stays in, Flamethrower. Thank you, even though this isn't Crimson Sea Dog, it was name changed to Pork Chop. Crimson Sea Dog getting a kill. There's 1. So Crimson Sea Dog proving his worth to this team. He's going to bring out Earhart here, and that is going to be a Salamence. I don't see the Intimidate, so this is going to be a Moxie DD set, and I'm just like, fantastic. If he gets up 2 Dragon Dances, it's over, because nothing on my team outspeeds it. So I'm just like, F. So I'm like, okay, we got to Toxic it, put it on a timer. Okay. Toxic it. Bueno, it hit. He's got the Lumberry. Crap, crap, crap. I'm like, okay. He's probably going to attack this turn, because he might be fearing the dual status, and I could be carrying the Will-O-Wisp. So I go into Spinal Tap here because I want the sand, and this is my most expendable thing because it's paralyzed at this point, which pretty much ruined. So I don't really have anything that I need to keep this around for at the moment, because there's nothing that I'm going to outspeed and get a hit off on that's going to matter. So T-Tar goes down. Luckily for me, he didn't Dragon Dance there, because that could have been a huge problem. It probably would have been game over at that point. So that was bueno. We're going to bring in Rye Toast here, and I'm like, okay, he's taking 1 turn of Sandstorm damage. Going to go for the Rock Slide. If he has no defense investment, we can one-shot him. Come on, baby. Come on, baby. Rye Toast pulling through. Now, here is where the game is going to change and never be the same. I could have switched out here, because he had to go for the water type attack. Had to. And I have Jellicent. Why didn't I switch out there? I'm like, I want to get as much damage as I can. Switch out Jellicent. I wasn't thinking that... You'll see what happens later in the game, and we'll explain it after the match why this was such a huge mistake on my point. So, Shell Shock. There, see? Sandstorm damage before leftovers. That's what I thought. Bueno. Confirmation. Okay, so Shell Shock is in a well-revengeable range for anything on my team. So, he's going to go for the Toxic here, because it's the only thing he can do. I mean, he's got Rapid Spin, but... yeah. Just going to knock it out. And Shell Shock's going to go down, so I'm like, okay. We're in this. We got to keep it up. And he's going to bring in the thing that I don't have an answer for now. And that is Jolteon. I can't switch out because nothing I can bring in wants to take 2 Thunderbolts. So, Jellicent's going to go down, unfortunately, and that is no bueno. Unfortunately, Requiem goes down, only taking out 1 Mon, and the Sandstorm subsides. And that's really a bummer, because I could have used that residual damage, and that would have helped out a lot. And I was going to Volt Switch here, and this was the smartest play he could have made. And he's going to crit me there. Not really a huge issue, because I don't think I would have won in the long run, even if he didn't. It would have mattered had I Morning Sun there, which is what I should have done. But I didn't, and the Arcanine set I have, Jolteon cannot do 50% to me unless it's Specs or Life Orb, which he is not. And Morning Sun would have just kept getting all my health back every time he hit me until he crit me. So, he's going to Thunderbolt here. That's going to take out Pork Chop, the Crimson Sea Dog. Crimson Sea Dog got the kill on Victini, so that's 2 kills, 1 death. So that's +1 for the week, and that's bueno. And Uzer's going to come out here and has nothing. This was worst case scenario for us. We end up with Thundurus on Jolteon because I have nothing for it. And it turns out we prepared for the wrong Mon with this set. Not that it would have mattered, because he would have 2-shot me regardless of what move I had on there. Whether it had been Focus Blast, I don't think would have 1-shot. And or if we had Sludge Wave, which would have most likely been the move we would have had in the event we would have needed an emergency fix for his Sylveon, which he didn't bring. But good game, Dan. That was a fantastic match. That's 2 weeks in a row. We've taken it all the way down to Mon versus Mon. So we're not getting blown out, and we're getting closer and closer to getting consistent, good matches. So I think that speaks volumes compared to how we were playing last year. We finally, this team suits us. We're using it well. So I think that's a great big step in the right direction for the Pittsburgh Pirattatas. Now, a few people I want to thank this week that I haven't been thanking that I should have. A-Drive, because of the fantastic match, being flexible with my schedule, because this week was the first week I started my physical therapy, and it really jacked up my schedule. So thank you, Dan, for being flexible. Thank you also for recording my match, which you have done in previous weeks, as well as Geo. Big thanks there. Tom, the analyst, who you will see on the power rankings, for helping me gen my teams and being an overall great guy to work with. Let's go back to that Rye Toast play. Had we switched out there, I mean, we could Tisket Task at a green and yellow basket all day long, but it's not going to matter. And it's just unfortunate. I did not play endgame at that point because I wasn't thinking it was going to be Jolteon versus Uzer in the end. And not having extreme speed on Arcanine really sucked, because that would have been really handy at the end. But you look back, you learn, And I mean, what you gonna do? You learn from your mistakes. We'll know next week. And next week we are going up against the St. Louis Rampardos. Or no, that was this week. Next week. Well, let's finish talking about Rye Toast real quick. Rye Toast. Had we switched it out at that point versus... What was he in on? What was he in on? Crap. Had we switched it out and sacked something, or not sacked something, had we switched Jellison into Blastoise there, I believe he was at range, we would have been able to hit Jolteon and take a hidden power fighting. But I mean, like I said, we go back and debate that all day long. That was being nearsighted on my point, which no joke I am in real life. But yeah, that was unfortunate. Next week we're moving on to our last season division rival, who Dan was also, and that is Shady Penguin and the New York Mankeys. Now, we are both, spoilers if you haven't watched this match yet, stop now. We are both going to be going into week 6, 2 and 3. So both of us are really going to be looking for this victory to be able to go halfway through the season at 500, being 3 and 3, because the other person is going to be 2 and 4. Shady's had a really rough couple of weeks, and I know he's really hungry for a victory, so we really got to put our A game on. And this is going to be, in my opinion, the matchups of the 2 best fire, water, grass cores in the league. So I'm really excited for that. I hope you guys are too. And yeah, this has been Oldmantup with game week 5 of season 5 of the GBA versus the St. Louis Rampardos and A-Drive. I'm sure you guys, if you know me, you know him, but links as always are in the description to him and all the other coaches. But alright guys, this has been Oldmantup. We will catch you on the flip side. Peace.